Across the country, there are thousands of animals at risk, simply because they were unlucky enough to be born in a community where there aren't enough homes for pets who need them. There are many reasons this might happen. Some shelters don't have enough space, staff, and resources to care for all the animals in need. Others are so inundated by a particular breed that there's less demand for them. So in 2014, the ASPCA launched a program that relocates animals by ground and by air from areas where the overcrowding puts them at risk to areas where they have a much better chance to find a safe and loving home.
Good boy.
Morgan is a great example of a dog who is so well-rounded, has such a good temperament. He has so much promise as a great companion for someone. He really only has one obstacle to adoption, and that's the city environment. And just like some people who get anxious in the city and prefer to live in a rural environment, that's Morgan's temperament. He doesn't have the choice to just get up and move if he's uncomfortable or anxious.
Very good baby.
He was found by the NYPD tied to a fence. He was very emaciated and in poor health and poor condition, but despite how he looked, he was a happy dog right from the get-go.
Good boy.
We really got him when he was sort of a teenage puppy, when he was past his early socialization stage. So now we're sort of playing catch-up and socializing him slowly and reacquainting him with some of the scary things in the world. He's gotten a lot better in fairly quiet environments or predictable environments. He's still struggling if it's very noisy outside, if cars start honking, if a bus goes by, if something really loud happens. He does still have trouble recovering from that. Certainly many dogs learn to cope with the city the way people who are very anxious may learn to cope with the city. Dogs can too, but we don't feel that he would thrive. So with this program, we're giving him the opportunity to live somewhere that he's really going to be happy.
We check up on our dogs every 4 hours or so, just to be sure that they're feeling good during transport and we can keep them as minimally stressed as possible. It's really important as some of these dogs are coming from rather stressful situations. And they don't know when we're transporting them that they're on their way to a much better life. Sometimes it's a complete 180 for them. But we try to make the transport as stress-free for them as possible. Many of the animals I transport are coming out of their shelters of origin because there's a lack of space or a lack of adoptable homes in the area. And some just need to get to a spot where their likelihood of being adopted is much greater.
Howdy's so cool. When I first got him, he seemed very old, like when I met him in the shelter. He was really undernourished. The Good Samaritan found him and brought him into the ASPCA in New York. He had surgery to repair some problem with his paw, and I don't know that they know for sure what caused the injury, and they ended up having to amputate the whole leg. So when I got him, he was really still recovering from that. It took him a full month before he would bark at all at the house. I didn't hear his dog voice at all the first month that he was here. And then he just became this ball of energy and personality.
Pretty boy.
We found out that she was tied up in the Bronx by a hose, a water hose behind a building, and just left there. Her ears were cut, and she had mange and just filthy looking and really sick looking. And so they had rescued her and wanted to get her to Maine as soon as possible. When we first brought her home, you could tell that she was a little skittish of the city atmosphere. She had like that stance and that shaking and just kind of the sturdy, protect myself, I'm not sure. And I think over time, over the year, like maybe 6 months in even, we saw, okay, these people are working with me, they love me, I have food, I have consistency, a routine, I get to go for car ride. Like she kind of felt like we loved her and she knew what to expect. And so she kind of mellowed out. She's a part of our family. She's, you know, our 6th person in the house. I mean, my little one, my 4-year-old, will dress her up in costumes and necklaces, and they play dress up together, and they play ball, and they, you know, run around in the yard. She's another person to us. It feels like we did something right, and we made a difference.
This is the reason the Animal Relocation Program is so important. It's relatively easy to get dogs out of underserved communities and get them into environments where they can thrive. Whether it be the country or the city, there's a spot for everyone. Apple doesn't have any hang-ups, she's just a wee puppy, so adapting to life in a big city is going to be pretty easy for her. Since relocating Morgan to Maine last summer, I've relocated hundreds more animals, and bringing Apple to New York today was a wonderful experience. It's just been really nice to be a part of their journey. Every animal we transport comes with their own individual story. Apple just happened to be the 100,000th milestone for our program, and the relocation program are confident that there are going to be many more milestones to come in the future.